Let's begin by talking a little bit more about what Checkmate actually is. So let's start on the TurboSquid site. Let's scroll down past these models. Maybe you see one of your models there. Let's come all the way down to the bottom to Checkmate content. Let's click on Checkmate and we'll come to the Checkmate certification landing page. So the reason for Checkmate is when we build models and we submit them for sale on TurboSquid, sometimes there can be issues with the models. So someone might purchase a model to incorporate into a video game or into their movie or whatever it is that they're working on, and they buy the model and they bring it in and they open it up and it's way too big, or it's really too small and they can't even see it. Or maybe there are issues with the topology. It's not optimal. Maybe there are some overlapping points, or there's some overlapping faces. There's some problems with the models. And so these people that have bought the model have to now spend time fixing those things. And that obviously is not what they want to do. They would like to just bring in the model and be able to use it. Now they have to spend time and money to now fix the models that they've already purchased. And so Checkmate is a way for TurboSquid to say, okay, if you adhere, as someone who's producing models, if you adhere to some certain standards as far as how your model's created, we can avoid those issues. And now customers that come can see, okay, this model has been pre-vetted so that we know that we're not going to have to deal with those issues. So for instance, if someone comes and wants to buy a chair, they can look for Checkmate Pro certified models, in this case, a chair, and they can see, okay, this chair has the Checkmate Pro certified badge on that. And I know as a customer that this model doesn't have the size issues, it's the right size, it's oriented correctly, there are no issues with overlapping faces. I know that I'm not going to have to go through and do all of those fixes. So it's worth it to me to make sure that I, let's say, only buy Checkmate Pro certified models, because, then I know I'm not going to have to spend that extra time, right? As someone who's, a hypothetical customer here. So that's where the Checkmate Pro certification comes in. It just enables us to, enables kind of you as an artist to stick to a certain standard when selling models on TurboSquid so that your customers know what they're getting. And if you really spend some time and build your models correctly and make sure that they're nice and clean and get this Checkmate Pro certification, can really help to make your models stand out. Now the actual specification itself, you can see by clicking here under Checkmate Pro, View Spec, and this will show you all of the different things involved in the specification. We're going to concentrate in this course on the modeling portion of it. There's things in here that have to do with rigging and animation and different ways of submitting things. We'll concentrate just on the elements of kind of building 3D models. And as we go through this process, we'll reference each section of the Checkmate Pro certification as we go. Okay. Now, how did TurboSquid kind of come up with this certification and these specifications? Well, if we go back and click on this advisory board, these kind of ideas of how models should be built and kind of those specifications come from, to a large degree, this advisory board. So these are actually people working in the industry modeling right now. And so just set aside for a moment that you're building models to sell on TurboSquid. Just as a modeler, this kind of information is invaluable. Getting information about what makes a good model from people that have worked on movies that you've seen and people that have worked on games that you've played, and knowing what those people say make a good model can only help in your modeling career. So in addition to helping you to sell models on TurboSquid, it's just going to help make you a better modeler. If you kind of look at the things that they're saying you need to avoid or things that you need to build a certain way, it can really just only help. Okay, so the specifications are kind of agreed upon by this advisory board in combination with TurboSquid, obviously, and then put into that spec. Now, the way that the certification is checked is kind of a combination of automated scripts and manual inspection. So let's take a look at the scripts themselves, because we can actually use these as artists ourselves before we submit our models. So if we go over here, it's just Checkmate Tools here. And you can see that there under downloads, there's a variety of different tools based on the different software packages. Now we're talking about Mac, so we would concentrate here on this one. Now I'm not logged in currently, but if I was logged in, I'd be able to just click download to download that tool. And I could unzip it And we just have a couple of executables here based on whatever version that we have. And then we also have a README, a PDF in here. It's going to give you information about installation, where to put the files, where to put the scripts and things like that. And so I encourage you to check that out as well. Okay, you're just going to have to run these files, and if you have a newer version of 3ds Max, I think you'll have to move a couple of files yourself, but that's all inside of this README. So once you've got that script, you can actually use it yourself on your model. So let's say you want to incorporate it into your interface here in 3ds Max. So we can go into customize. Let's just customize the user interface. I'm going to come to toolbars, and just under the category, let's just choose Checkmate Tools. And then we can just grab this model checker, and we can just grab it and move it somewhere onto our toolbar. And then if I come in and click it, I can come in and it'll give me sort of a window that I can bring up, and then it'll show me any of the issues that may be happening on any of this geometry that we have in here. So again, these are the same tools that TurboSquid will use, and so you can really get a head start by, once you're done, going in and running these scripts and seeing the issues that may be there and fixing those before you submit it, and then have it potentially come back and say you need to fix these. Well, you already know about those, and you've already been able to fix those, so it just makes it go a lot quicker. And the quicker you can get your model done and uploaded and ready to sell, the more opportunity you have for people to come see it and purchase it. So again, lots and lots of information on the site. So I encourage you to check out the FAQ, check out the advisory board, look at the specs. We'll go through, as we go through each lesson, again, we'll go through each portion of the specification that is relevant to that particular lesson. But I encourage you to go through that documentation yourself and familiarize yourself with it. So that's an overview of the Checkmate certification and some of the things involved in that. We're going to go through, starting in the next lesson, looking at some specifics with the specification. Again, it's good to know, regardless whether you're going to sell something on TurboSquid, it's good information to know, industry knowledge related to what makes a good, clean model. So definitely take advantage of that. In the next lesson, we'll talk about the first aspect of modeling for our Checkmate certification. And so we'll talk about quads, triangles, and n-gons, and see what the Checkmate certification has to say about those.